Dzień dobry Państwu, nazywam się Izabela Flakiewicz.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Izabela Flakiewicz. I am Deputy President of the Supervisory Board of the Exchange. On the basis of Article 399 para 1 of the Commercial Companies Code and on the basis of the Articles of Association, I hereby open the annual general meeting of stakeholders, which was summoned on for today in the seat of the company in Książęca Street, 4 Książęca Street, which was announced by the current report number 8 on the 29th of May, and in the current report number 11 dated 5th of June 2023 on the amendment to the agenda. On today's general meeting, the company is represented by the management board in full composition, by President Marek Dietl, Ms. Izabela Olszewska, Ms. Monika Gorgoń, and Mr. Adam Młotkowski, members of the management board. I would like to welcome the representative of the Polish Supervisory Financial Authority, stakeholders, representatives of stakeholders, and representatives of the media. The course of today's session is registered and broadcast on the internet for the unlimited group of viewers, and all of you can make a reservation to prohibit the broadcasting of your image. Before we move to the first point on the agenda, which is the election of the chair of the general meeting, I would like to explain the rules for using technical rules for using the voting equipment. Could the representative of the company responsible for counting votes explain the principles? During the registration, you received tablets for voting. On each of them, you have two buttons, Your Data and Documents. Under the Documents button, you have all the materials related to today's meeting. Under Your Data button, there is information regarding the number of shares and votes that you represent and entities that you represent. Please press the Your Data button and please verify if the data is accurate. And if there are no comments, I will explain what the procedure is going to be like. When after the announcement of the chairman, you will get the title of the resolution and the mode in which the vote will be taken, whether it's open or secret ballot. You will have 3 buttons, yes, no, abstained, and then the tablet will move to the next window informing you about your decision and the request to confirm your decision, and only after you confirm, your decision will be sent into the system and counted. If you mistakenly choose the first button, you may return to the previous window, correct your decision, and then approve and send your vote. A similar procedure is followed in the EWZ system, which is also used today. Do you have any questions to the rules of voting? If you should have any problems during today's session, we are available for your assistance. If there are no questions, let's move on to point 2 on the agenda, which is election of the chair of the general meeting. I would now like the shareholders to propose the candidates to this position. Katarzyna Witkowska, representing the Treasurer of State. I would like to propose Mr. Karol Szymański to to the position of the chair of today's general meeting. Are there any other proposals? I can't see any. Therefore, let us have a secret ballot on the draft resolution number 1 concerning the of the annual general meeting of the company GPW Wartościowych w Warszawie S.A. concerning election of the chair of the general meeting pursuant to Article 409 para 1 of the Commercial Companies Code and para 12 section 1 of the company's articles of association. The general meeting of the company hereby resolves as follows. The general meeting of the company elects as chair of the general meeting held on the 26th June 2023 Mr. Karol Szymański. The resolution shall come into force on the day of adoption. Please cast your votes. Please provide the results of the vote. Could the Unicomp present the results of the vote? Because I cannot get any on my tablet. Let me read out the results. Votes for 41,587,393, against 0, abstained 0. Therefore, I conclude that the resolution has been adopted, and I would like to invite the chair, the newly elected chair of this general meeting, to assume the function. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for your trust, and I'm pleased once again to be chairing the general meeting of stakeholders of the Warsaw Stock Exchange. Please allow me a few moments to prepare. I also need to sign off the attendance list, which was prepared and verified when you received your voting equipment. The list of attendance is available to all of you throughout today's meeting. I definitely need to make some declarations relating to the to whether today's meeting has been convened correctly, and definitely on the basis of the company's reports and current reports, the meeting has been convened, has been duly convened. In a moment you will get a number of stakeholders and shares and votes present in the meeting. Some of the voters are taking part remotely, therefore we may need to wait a bit longer for those votes to be included. So definitely this general meeting is valid and can adopt resolutions if at least 50% of votes are present. I confirm this condition has been fulfilled, and this general meeting is in power to adopt any resolutions. You have been also instructed how to use your voting tablets. If there are should there be any technical issues, please notify them immediately. Ladies and gentlemen, implementing this agenda, before we start implementing the agenda, we need to adopt it formally. And a general comment: I will not be reading out draft resolutions which have been made available to you on the website and in the individual current reports. However, if you have any questions relating to the contents of those draft resolutions, please notify that, and then we'll read out the contents. So we are moving to resolution number 2. Are there any comments regarding the agenda? So let's have an open ballot on this matter. Please start casting your vote. As soon as the votes are registered, please close the vote and present the results. Ladies and gentlemen, as regards the adoption of the agenda of the general meeting, in total 41,587,393 votes have been cast out of 26,863,923 shares. All of the votes have been cast for the adoption, and therefore the resolution has been carried. And we are moving on to the next item. I can see raise hands. I would like to submit a formal motion. Ladies and gentlemen, I have not opened the discussion yet. However, I'm going to do that in a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on point 5 of the agenda, and in line with the rules of procedure of the general meeting, I propose that discussion on the matters from from item 5 to number 8, that is review of financial statements from the management board, from the supervisory board. I propose that all those reviews are discussed jointly. And now you may suggest your comments. As you have seen, I have received a written motion regarding the provision of information by the management board regarding matters which are discussed by today's general meeting. This request in total contains 12 questions from stakeholders. Let me pass this motion to the management board of the company. I understand that it will take some time before these 12 questions are analyzed. Mr. Chairman, there is also a technical comment that the applicant obligated the chair to read out the question and proposes to organize a break so that we can have an open discussion, because I will be moving for changes in the Articles of Association. I will be trying to convince stakeholders, the State Treasury. Maybe it will be possible to operate smoothly in this regard without the need to I represent the Foundation of Polish Innovation. I'm the major stakeholder of that foundation and the president of the board. Thank you very much for your introduction and for indicating other circumstances which may suggest certain evaluation of this situation. So my proposal is as follows. I'm going to give the floor to the management board of the company to present the important circumstances relating to the year 2022 and those circumstances that the management board would like to discuss in the context of reports discussed today or financial statements discussed today, and then I will refer to the questions that have been submitted. We are now reading through the questions. I would like to ask Mr. Adam Rutkowski, our CFO, to summarize the results of the company. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the previous year, 2022, that was, as you are well aware, a year of major challenges for the Warsaw Stock Exchange and for the entire market and all entities operating in the economy, not only in Poland or Europe, but in practice across the world. This, of course, resulted from exceptional events that happened at the beginning of the previous year, the outbreak of the war in Ukraine and the Russian invasion of Ukraine and the consequences that followed, which is not only military attack, but some elements of hybrid war, which involved our country in a special way. It all led to an emergence of energy crisis, increase of energy prices, and distortion of supply chains, and in consequence to high inflation, which affected all countries, and especially the ones that are closest to the conflict zone or had very close trade relations with either Russian Federation or countries directly maybe not beneficiaries, but were sort of infected, so to speak, by the crisis. And in consequence, it led to a series of increases of interest rates, as you are well aware, in order to slow down the rate of inflation. But before all those actions transferred into some tangible effects, it had a very negative impact on the results of both our company and many other entities operating on the market. In effect of that, on the consolidated level, we have observed a decrease of revenues from sale revenues, 0.5% year on year. Revenues reached 389 million zlotys on the consolidated level, but the 4.5% decrease in relation to the previous year, definitely the previous year was a record year in terms of sales revenues. So even though this decrease was small, it was compensated for by increases in other markets which do not constitute the key areas of our operation, but due to our diversification policies, allowed us to amortize this decrease. And this result, even though a bit lower than previous year, it was still better than revenues gained by the capital group before the pandemic. As regards the operating cost, they increased to 155 million zlotys.
So they increased by 11%, and certainly this was a significant increase, but I would like to emphasize that it was lower than the annual inflation rate. So the operating costs were caused by the external services costs, mostly IT services, but also remuneration costs. And this was also affected by a greater scale of activities implemented by the group strategic projects as part under the previous strategic perspective, which ended last year. And they also needed higher costs, but the effects related to this appeared in the last months of last year, but they were more distinct in the first quarter, which we mentioned at the last results conference, and they will be conspicuous in the next quarters. So the profitability was lowered, and the net profit of the company was 145 million for 2022. And here I would like to emphasize that despite this increase, this decrease was predicted by the market, so it was no surprise for investors or for analysts that it happened. It was fully explainable, explained by the difficult geopolitical and market situation. And these decreases were also fed by all the markets, all the trading platforms throughout Europe. And the IPOs, number of IPOs fell by 80% last year. And unfortunately, we had no IPO, but there were many movements from the New Connect to the main market. The futures market also developed. We developed record trading on the ETF market. So there were many positive effects of the actions we've taken related to develop the products. What's most important is that despite this decrease, the 37% was the increase in profitability, a very good one. And although because we've worked out this consolidated profit, it is not only our profit, but also those of the companies making up the group, PCTG. And we will be able, I'm recommending to this general meeting to pay out dividend. The Council of the GPW was positive about this recommendation, and we'd like this dividend for this year, 113 million, will be the dividend to 2.7 zloty per share, and this agrees with the dividend policy adopted by the company, which will be continued under the new strategy for the next 5 years, which we announced recently. So much briefly about the financial results. If there are any questions during this meeting, I'll be here to answer them. Thank you very much for this exhaustive presentation. Do you have any questions to this presentation? I can't see any. So I would like the management board to address the questions that have been asked. I would like to thank you for the questions. They are quite detailed, and just to save the time of shareholders, we decided to answer them in writing as part of the current report. It will be possible to, in 2 weeks, so you'll be able to read these answers. Thank you very much in behalf for the next answers. I am sure it will be very professional and will fully relate to these questions. But at this general meeting, we are here together. So I obligated the president of this chair of this meeting to read out these questions. So you are doing a job of you are a council. Thank you very much for these questions. The management board said it would address them in writing and in the as provided for under the commercial code, but please ask specific questions. If you have, I asked 12 questions which you haven't made public. Ask your question. Perhaps I will read these questions under Article 428. That is the content of the letter of the shareholder to the president, the chair of this general meeting, on behalf of the Foundation of Polish Innovation, and as a participant in this general meeting as an authorized shareholder under Article 424, as a shareholder of the GPW. I would like to ask I would like to read this question so that they are not repeated. This is justified in order to be able to assess the matters kind of covered by this discussion at this meeting. And Ms. Monika Gorgoń is obliged to follow the relevant regulations, and also it is consistent with the provisions of the regulations of the commercial articles of association of the GPW. These are the basic questions. Why is the GPW forcing shareholders to prepare financial statements in the PDF format rather than XLS, which is not consistent with the relevant regulations of the accounting regulations? Question number 2. Why does GPW treat in a discriminatory manner to the issuers, for example, those that are not comply with the relevant regulations with respect to point I1? Why does GPW approves the reports of some issuers in 2 days and others in more than 2 days? Why doesn't GPW reply to issuers in a way that would be compatible with the law? And or sometimes it doesn't reply at all, especially as regards, for example, the the motion of 16 January 2023, to which motion the GPW hasn't answered until today. And also, why hasn't GPW responded to the motion to have Ms. Monika Gorgoń dismissed? Is there a debate between the members of the management board as to whether Ms. Monika Gorgoń is competent to sign the official letters? Also, why doesn't GPW comply with the icons that are pre-published? Why does it reduce? Why does GPW reduce the abilities of entrepreneurs as regards obligating them to do things which are not provided for under the relevant regulations? And why? And this applies, for example, to the legal question 69 and 18. When will the GPW adjust its regulations to the provisions on regulated trading? Why has the GPW issued a decision that caused the civil death of one of the shareholders relating to the taxes front? Who of the management board has taken such a resolution, and what was the composition of the vote? And doesn't GPW consider that shareholders, issuers should have the right to continue the operation until they have been decisions have been adopted? So these were 12 questions from this letter. You should know them, particularly given that a member of the management board are these Uconnect issuers are the main candidates for the main market. Well, the Treasury has the majority of votes, so I'm asking the representative of Treasury, and I haven't. I have respected your right to take the floor, but I would like to point out that we are now talking about the financial reports, the reports of the management board and the supervisory board. As regards the proposals for the statute, they will be covered at later in the course of this meeting. Any comments on the financial reports? Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, for not interrupting me, because although these questions are difficult, I would like to ask for answers so that we could, as shareholders, for example, discuss the financial reports. Is it a formal request? It's a shareholders' motion. I would like to finish. The regulations provide that the chair can decide on a break himself, but if you do not agree on the 401, Article 401 of the Commercial Companies Code, I ask for a break. Indeed, there is a possibility that formal motions may be submitted by the participants, and one of them is the motion for a break. So my duty is to have a vote on this resolution, to have a quarter of an hour break. So, ladies and gentlemen, who would like to have a break, please exercise your right to vote. Who doesn't want to vote and believes that we can move on the review and approve the reports, then they would vote no. Is the system ready? System is ready. So there's a question. Mr. Chair, I would like to, because I have no instructions from my employer, I would like to say that I will ask you not to take part in this vote. So as any other resolution will be, as all the others will be taken by the absolute majority of the votes cast. Any questions, any doubts? So I call for a vote on this formal motion. So once the votes are registered, please give me the results. Ladies and gentlemen, 41,173,972 valid votes were cast, representing 26,250,502 actions, representing 63% of the equity. For 1,336,903 against 29,391,041 and abstentions 10,445,028. So the resolution has not been adopted. So we move on to resolution number 3, which is the review and approval of the report of the management board on the activity of the company. So I can't see any comments, so please exercise your right to vote. This resolution has been published and you should know it well. Once all the votes have been registered, please close the votes and let me know the results. Ladies and gentlemen, 41,587,393 valid votes were cast, representing 26,863,923 shares, representing 64% of the share capital. For 41,566,272, against 1, and abstentions 21,120. So this resolution has been adopted. I can see a hand raised. I would like to, on the basis of the Commercial Companies Code, I would like you to register my opposition, because I believe that the reports doesn't reflect the situation in the market well, and some of the companies should be suspended because because of the incorrect form of the reports, because their reports are in the wrong format. Certainly, these objections that are consistent with the law will be recorded, and the technical question to you: will it be able to have the electronic version of the notary deed? And it is the Commercial Companies Code 421, and it doesn't provide for electronic protocol by the shareholders. I will check this. Thank you very much. And the next draft resolution concerns review and approval of financial statement of company for the year ended December 2022. Any questions to this draft resolution? So please cast your votes on this resolution. After all the votes have been registered, please close the vote, let me know the results. And they are as follows. 41,587,933 valid votes were cast, representing 26,250,502 6,563,923 shares, representing 64% of the share capital. For 41,566,272, and against 1, and abstentions 21,120. So I find the resolution has been adopted.
Ladies and gentlemen, next draft agenda, number 5, concerns the review and approval of the consolidated financial statements of the group for the year ended 31st December 2022. Are there any comments or motions regarding the draft resolutions? I can't see any, therefore I order the ballot. Please use your tablets, and those of you who are participating remotely, please use your right to vote with the use of your computers. In the meantime, I would like to confirm that I'm viewing the motions that could be submitted electronically, and so far I have not observed any such remotely submitted motions. If there are any, I will immediately inform you about it. Ladies and gentlemen, in total 41,587,393 valid votes have been cast out of 26,063,923 shares, constituting 64% of the share capital. For the resolution, 41,566,272 votes, against none, abstentions 21,121. So I therefore conclude that the resolution has been adopted. The next item on the agenda is related to the distribution of the company's profit for 2022. Are there any comments regarding the draft resolution which was communicated to the public? I can't see any motions, and so please cast your votes regarding this resolution number 6. Ladies and gentlemen, 41,587,393 valid votes have been cast out of 26,863,923 shares, constituting 64% of the share capital. For the resolution, 41,587,392 votes, against none, abstentions 1 vote. I therefore conclude that the resolution has been adopted. And the next item on the agenda and the next draft resolution is related to the approval of the report of the Exchange Supervisory Board for 2022 to the extent required by the Code of Best Practices for GPW listed companies. Would anybody like to take the floor on the matter? I can't see any. Then I order an open ballot on the resolution. Please cast your votes. As soon as the votes are registered, please put up the results on the screen. Ladies and gentlemen, 41,587,393 valid votes have been cast out of 26,863,923 shares, constituting 64% of the share capital of the company. For the resolution, 41,566,272 votes, against 0, abstaining votes 21,121 votes. I therefore conclude that the resolution has been adopted. The next item on the agenda and the next draft resolution concerning issuance of an opinion on the remuneration of the members of the management board and the supervisory board of the Warsaw Stock Exchange. The draft resolution, as our other draft resolution, is familiar to you. Would anybody like to take the floor? I can't see any, therefore I order the ballot. Please start casting your votes. Ladies and gentlemen, 41,587,393 valid votes have been cast out of 26,863,923 shares, constituting 64% of the share capital. For the resolution, 39,958,106 votes, against 1,628,144 votes, abstaining 1,143 votes. I therefore conclude that the resolution has been adopted. Ladies and gentlemen, we are moving to two more items on the agenda, and I would like to open a joint discussion. One of them concerns the discharge of duties to the members of the management board, the other to the members of the supervisory board of the Warsaw Exchange. Would anybody like to take the floor in this respect? I was expecting to be more stakeholders to be interested in discussion, but let me ask the question. As regards the question is related to the supervisory board, in what way the supervisory board exercises the current supervision over the operations of GPW? Well, is this your? Is it the only question you have? Well, I may have more questions. Well, I would like to ask all the questions that you have to the points, and once I close the discussion, I will not allow you to take the floor on the same matter, in line with the rules of procedure of this general meeting. So you have one question. Thank you. The supervisory board performs the current supervision in its sessions. Thank you very much. I warned you that you have had the possibility of asking all the questions. And so, well, do you have any questions related to the agenda of today's general meeting? All stakeholders have the right to ask questions relating to the matters included in the agenda of the general meeting, and we have not interfered, even if we were concerned with whether the questions were truly related to the matters on the agenda. Well, are there any more comments? Therefore, I would like to order the secret ballot on all the following votes will be secret votes. We start with item 9, a vote of discharge of duties to a member of the Exchange Supervisory Board member, Mr. Michał Bałabanov. Please cast your vote.
To mam pytanie do naszej technicznej obsługi.
I have a question to our technical service. I can see that one of our remote participants has left the meeting. So please present the current number of shares represented in this general meeting. Ladies and gentlemen, the results are as follows. The 41,447,653 valid votes have been cast out of 26,724,183 shares, constituting 63.67% of the share capital. For the resolution, 39,373,495 votes, against 2,037,573 votes, abstentions 36,585. I therefore conclude that the resolution has been adopted. The next draft resolution. Now I have a question from the floor. I would like to object to the fact that the supervisory board insufficiently supervises the work of the management board of the GPW. The next resolution is related to the vote of discharge of duties to a member of the Exchange Supervisory Board, Ms. Izabela Flakiewicz. Please exercise your right to vote. Ladies and gentlemen, 41,587,392 valid votes have been cast out of 26,863,922 shares, constituting 64% of the share capital. For the resolution, 39,513,234 votes, against 2,037,573 votes, abstentions 36,585. I therefore conclude that the resolution has been adopted.
Składam sprzeciw.
Again, I would like to object to the fact that the supervisory board insufficiently supervises the work of the management board of the GPW, and Ms. Izabela Falkiewicz, in the opinion of the shareholder, I understand that this will be included in the minutes. supervision of the management board is incorrect. The next draft resolution is related to a vote of discharge of duties to a member of the Exchange Supervisory Board, Mr. Dominik Kaczmarski. Please exercise your right to vote. Ladies and gentlemen, 41,587,392 valid votes have been cast out of 26,863,922 shares, constituting 64% of the share capital. For the resolution, 39,513,234 votes, against 2,037,573 votes, abstaining votes 36,585. I therefore conclude the resolution has been adopted. I would like to object to the fact that the supervisory board insufficiently supervises the operation of the management board. The next resolution concerns a vote of discharge of duties to Mr. Janusz Krawczuk as the member of the Exchange Supervisory Board. I therefore order a ballot on this draft resolution. Ladies and gentlemen, 41,587,392 valid votes have been cast out of 26,863,922 shares, constituting 64% of the share capital. For the resolution, 39,513,234 votes, against 2,037,573 votes, abstaining votes 36,585. votes. I therefore conclude that the resolution has been adopted. I would like to make an objection to the resolution because the supervisory board insufficiently supervises the work of the management board. The next draft resolution concerns a vote of discharge of duties to Mr. Filip Paszke as a member of the Exchange Supervisory Board. I order a ballot on the matter. Ladies and gentlemen, 41,587,392 valid votes have been cast out of 26,863,922 shares, constituting 64% of the share capital. For the resolution, 39,513,234 votes, against 2,037,573 votes, and abstaining votes 36,585 votes. I therefore conclude that the resolution has been adopted.
I would like to submit my objection. The supervisory board doesn't supervise the work of the GPW in an insufficient way. And then we have a vote on the vote of discharge of duties to member of supervisory board, Mr. Leszek Skiba. So I call for a vote on this resolution. Ladies and gentlemen, 41,587,932 valid votes were cast, representing 26,863,922 shares, representing 67% of the share capital. 39,513,234 against 2,037,533, and abstentions 36,585. So the resolution has been adopted. I would like to table my objection in the sense that the supervisory board is not sufficiently supervising the operation of the GPW. Then we move on to a resolution concerning discharge of duties to Mr. Adam Szyszka for the financial year 2022. So please exercise your corporate rights by voting now. Have everyone voted? A total of 41,587,322 valid votes were cast, representing 26,863,922 shares, representing 64% of the share capital. For 39,513,234 against 2,037,000 36,573, abstentions 36,585. So the resolution has been adopted. Please, I would like to submit my objection, stating that the supervisory board is not exercising adequate, insufficient supervision over the GPW. So we have completed the votes of all the members of the management board, the supervisory board. All the members of the supervisory board have been given a discharge, and now we move on to members of the management board, and the first member of the board is Mr. Borowski, Piotr Borowski, and we take a secret ballot on his discharge. $41,587,392 ballot votes were cast, representing 26,863,922 valid shares, representing 64 of the share capital. 40,184,376, and against 1,366,431, and abstentions 36,585 votes abstentions. And I would like to submit my objection to this member of the management board, saying that this management board doesn't operate in an ethical and legal way. So the next resolution will concern Mr. Marek Dietl, the president of the management board for 2022. It is a secret vote. So, ladies and gentlemen, 41,587,392 ballots were cast, representing 26,863,922 shares, representing 64% of the share capital. For 40,184,376, against 1,366,431, and abstentions 36,585. So the resolution has been adopted. Please. For this member of the management board, I submit my objection for operation again not consisting with the law. And then we move on to resolution to give discharge of duties to Ms. Monika Gorgoń in the financial year for 2022. I submit a motion for a new draft resolution, and my motion is that we refuse to give discharge of duties to as regards Monika Gorgoń. So please, Monika Gorgoń implements her task of the member of the management board incorrectly, and also operates in non-compliance with the Polish law. I hope that whole market will be reading. So I would like you to read the communication of the taxes fund. Have you finished? Have you? I'm only beginning. So please keep to make it tidy presentation. So also incorrect, not in compliance with. I have told Ms. Gorgoin that she can't as a one-person write to the management boards of companies, because GPW should act collectively in a manner that is provided for in the commercial companies. Also, Monika Gorgoin doesn't do her job professionally. What she does is simply unacceptable. I just one comment on the chair. I believe that, in my view, you can't limit the provision of 424. So your limitation of my questions to one question is not consistent with Article 428. So now we have a vote on giving discharge of duties to Ms. Monika Gorgoin as a member of the management board in the financial year 2022. And this is a secret vote, which is, of course, obvious at this stage of the proceedings. Ladies and gentlemen, 41,587,322 valid votes were cast, representing 26,863,922 shares, representing 64% of the share capital, for 40,184,376, against 1,366,431, and abstentions 36,585. So the resolution has been adopted. Please. I would like to submit my objection, because Ms. Gorgoin doesn't carry out her basic duties and simply doesn't carry out her job, and what she does is not correct and legal, and she poses a threat to the operations of the GPW. So the next resolution is to give a discharge of duties to Mr. Dariusz Kołakowski. So this will be a secret ballot on this vote. $41,587,392 valid votes were cast, representing 26,863,922 shares, representing 64% of the share capital, for 40,184,376, against 1,366,431, and abstentions 36,585. So So in light of this, the resolution has been adopted. Yes? To this member of the management board, I submit my objection, stating that the management board is not working correctly in legally. So the next resolution concerns Mr. Adam Motkowski for the discharge of his duties in the financial year 22. So please exercise your voting rights. $41,587,392 valid votes, representing 26,163,822 shares, representing 64% of share capital. 40,184,336 against 1,363,531 and 336,585 abstentions. So I'm submitting my objection, stating that the present management board doesn't operate correctly, and Izabela Olszewska is our next subject of the resolution to give a discharge for the financial year 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, 41,587,392 valid votes were cast, representing 26,863,922 shares, representing 64 of the share capital. For 40,184,376 and against 1,366,421 and 36,585 abstentions. So the resolution has been adopted. I would like to submit my objection, stating that the present management board doesn't work in accordance with the ethics law. So as a long time has passed since this exclusion decision, I can't find who has done it, which is against the ethical standards. So we have closed this block of discharging resolutions, and we move on to resolution number 17, which is change of the there has been a clear mistake on the website in the changing paragraph 17 of the article. In paragraph 8 there should be a reference to item 7 rather than item 5. To jest dobrze. Are you clear on what the mistake was about? So in the change paragraph 17, in the new wording of item 8, the correct reference that will be preceded is the reference to item 7 of the same paragraph rather than item 5, as you can see in the published version. Anyone would like to add the comment on this, please? as I said, I would like to suggest that the ASEM, as regards the amendment of the, as you should propose your draft, well, this will be decided by the State Treasurer anyway. ASEM Connect should be supervised by the Council, by the Supervisory Board. So we should add an item to this regulations that the Supervisory Board acquires competences to.
Definitely the State Treasurer will decide. No, the stakeholders need to decide, and in order for them to decide, I need to have a proper resolution to present to stakeholders. So please put forward a draft resolution that will specifically indicate in which item of the Articles of Association you expect a specific change and what is the wording of the change. So, which part do we have? Do we have Articles of Association? It is available on the website of the company. So we don't have. It is available on the website of the company for everyone who has access to the internet. So could we have a 15 minutes break in order for me to download the Articles of Association, communicate with the major stakeholders, and, well, in line with the formal motion of the stakeholder, once again would like to take a vote on the motion to have 15-minute breaks in the general meeting. Who'd like to take the 15-minute break, please vote yes, or if you are against, please vote no. You may also abstain from the vote. The system is ready, so I order a ballot on the matter.
Szanowni Państwo,
ladies and gentlemen, 41,173,971 valid votes have been cast out of 26,450,501 shares, constituting 63.02% of the share capital. For the motion, 1 vote; against 29,391,041 votes; abstaining 11,782,929 votes. I therefore conclude the resolution has not been adopted. Ladies and gentlemen, are you clear regarding this draft resolution, including this self-correction that I have just mentioned? If there are still any doubts, please raise your hand. I can't see, therefore I order a ballot on the amendment of the Articles of Association of the Warsaw Stock Exchange, including this self-correction that I have communicated a moment ago.
Przepraszam, jest pytanie, tak?
There is a question regarding technical matters. So, could the representatives of the technical service approach the stakeholder? I would like us to resume the meeting, to repeat the meeting, So, because of technical error, please cancel the votes collected so far, and we will reopen the vote on request of the stakeholder. Please, the system is ready, so I order the ballot on the same draft resolution. Please cast your votes.
Szanowni Państwo, oddano
Ladies and gentlemen, 41,587,392 valid votes have been cast out of 26,863,922 shares, representing 64% of the share capital. For the resolution, 35,636,332 votes, against 1 vote, abstaining 5,951,059 votes. I therefore conclude that the resolution has been adopted with this qualified majority required by the Commercial Companies Code. Again, the floor is yours. I would like to table an objection to this resolution, because it should include a reference to the supervision over the alternative trading system ASO, because currently it contains a lot of errors, and Polish companies should have a real right to defend their positions, and we are just people. We can make errors, and then the whole market is responsible. We'll otherwise need to resort to the court of law. Well, we are moving to the item 18 of our agenda, changes to the composition of the Exchange Supervisory Board. Ladies and gentlemen, as you are well familiar of the fact that there have been 2 motions submitted, one concerning dismissal of a member of the Exchange Board and appointing another member, and another motion proposing a candidacy of a new member of the Supervisory Board. So I propose the following procedure. As the first, due to the specific mode provided for in the Articles of Association, I would like us to vote on the dismissal of Mr. Filip Paszke from his membership in the Exchange Supervisory Board. Then we will take a vote on appointing Madame Sudol as a member of the Supervisory Board, and then we will vote on the appointment of Mr. Piotr Rybicki as a member of the Exchange Supervisory Board. The floor is yours. Since the Articles of Association provides for a variety of voting modes, can we vote in groups, excluding the State Treasury, so that we could take a vote in groups? So separate the vote into groups in order to separate the votes of majority stakeholders from minority stakeholders, because definitely the State Treasury votes are preferred. in order to vote in groups, this has to be included in the agenda, which had to be submitted by a stakeholder in advance. During the annual general meeting, we cannot change the agenda because of the fact that we do not have 100% of the company share represented today in the room and remotely. Ladies and gentlemen, I can see one more raised hand. Could I have a brief break? I need to receive instructions regarding the vote. I need to make a phone call and receive instructions. Well, we need to treat everyone equally, so let's have a vote on 5-minute technical break. Ladies and gentlemen, as previously, those of you who are for taking this 5-minute break, please cast your vote for. If you are against, cast your vote against it. And those of you who would not like to take part in this vote, in this ballot, cast an abstaining vote. Is the system ready?
Szanowni Państwo, przepraszam.
Ladies and gentlemen, in total, as you can see in the screen, 41,173,971 valid votes out of 26,450,501 shares, constituting 63.02% of the share capital. For the motion, 2,130,692 votes, against 0, abstentions 39,043,279 votes. So these results indicate that you are not against this break. So let's take the 5-minute break. It is 12:32, 12:37. We will be resuming the session of this general meeting.
Szanowni Państwo, prosiłbym o zabieranie.
Please take your seats, at least those shareholders who are present in this spectacular historical room, trading room, trading floor. Now I would like to resume the procedure. As I indicated previously, the next draft agenda to be voted on is related to the dismissal of a member of the supervisory board. Let me read out the entirety of the resolution. Pursuant to Article 385, Para 1 of the Commercial Companies Code and Para 13, Section 1 of the Company's Articles of Association, of the General Meeting of the Company resolves as follows. Para 1. Mr. Filip Paszke is dismissed from the Exchange Supervisory Board. Para 2. The resolution shall come into force upon its adoption. If there are no motions, I would like us to start an open ballot on the matter. Is the system operational? I can see the confirmation on my screen. Ladies and gentlemen, if all the votes have been cast, please present the results. In total, 41,587,392 valid votes have been cast out of 26,863,922 shares, constituting 64% of the share capital. For the resolution, 31,597,350 votes against 5,446,386 votes. Abstaining votes counted 4,543,656 votes. And therefore I conclude that the resolution has been adopted. I can't see any comments from the floor. We have another draft resolution related to the appointment of the member of the supervisory board, Ms. Eva Sudol, pursuant to Article 385, Para 1 of the Commercial Companies Code and Para 13, Section 1 and Section 3 there is of the Companies Act Article of Association, the General Meeting of the company having assessed the candidate's fulfillment of the requirements referred to in Articles 6 and 8, from 6 to 8 of the Regulation of the Ministry of Finance, Funds and Regional Policy of the 24th November 2020 concerning requirements applicable to members of the Management Board and of the Supervisor Board of a company operating a regulated market, and the terms and conditions of maintaining and improving their knowledge and competences results as follows. Ms. Eva Sudol is appointed to the Exchange Supervisory Board, and Para 2, this resolution shall come into force upon its adoption. I order a ballot on the matter. Proszę.
Szanowni Państwo,
Ladies and gentlemen, 41,587,322 valid votes were cast, representing 26,863,922 shares, representing 64% of share capital. For 35,937,350 against 5,446,386, and abstentions 203,656. In light of this, the resolution has been adopted. And the next draft resolution concerns the appointment of the member of the supervisory board of the GTW, and I will read pursuant to Article 85, Paragraph 1 of the Commercial Companies Code and Paragraph 13(1) of the Companies Articles Association. General Meeting of the company having assessed the candidate's fulfillment requirements referred to Articles 6 to 8 of the Regulation Ministry of Finance, Funds and Regional Policy of 24th November 2020 concerning requirements applicable to members of the Management Board and of the Supervisory Board of a company operating a regulated market, and the terms and conditions of maintaining and improving their knowledge and competences resolves as follows. Paragraph 1, Mr. Piotr Nowicki is appointed to the Exchange Supervisory Board. Paragraph 2, resolution shall come into force upon its adoption. Any questions about this resolution? No. So I call for a secret ballot now.
gdy tylko wszystkie głosy zostaną
When all the votes are counted by the system, please give me the results. Ladies and gentlemen, 41,587,392 valid votes were cast, representing 26,863,922 shares, representing 64% of the share capital. For 19,819 against 38,273,227, and abstentions 3,294,346. So the resolution has not been adopted. Ladies and gentlemen, since there were no other candidates submitted, so I move to the next item of our agenda, which is to close this annual meeting, general meeting. So thank you very much for coming here in large numbers. And I would like to thank the management board and supervisory boards for being here with us. Thank you very much. We'll be seeing you.
Dziękujemy.